Hello, everyone. In the interest of time, we are going to go ahead and start. Thanks for joining our second workshop in the Office Innovation Series this spring. Today's topic is in-depth interactive report authoring with Quarto. My name is Jae-jung. I think I know most of you, and I'm the professor of marketing and also director of Center for Customer Insights and Digital Marketing. And we have two presenters, Serin and Jared. So why don't you introduce briefly yourself?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Saren, and I'm a Master of Science in Digital Marketing student at Cal Poly Pomona. I worked in digital marketing for about 4 or 5 years now, and right now I'm focusing on marketing analytics, and that's why I'm really focusing on Quarto and R right now, and I'm looking forward to sharing my experience with you.
Okay, I am trying to share my screen. Let me see. The Jared.
Technical difficulties. 1 second, please.
Yeah.
All right, Jared, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Jared Griffin. I am also a MSDM student, and I have been working with kind of R for probably kind of 5 or 6 years at this point.
All right, Serin, I seems to have a problem in sharing my screen.
We're able to see your screen right now.
Oh, you can see? All right.
Yes.
All right, great. All right, so announcement. This workshop will be recorded and available. Now, if you want to follow along, you can go ahead and let me share. I'll copy this URL on the chat, and you can go there, clone it, or if you don't know how to clone, you can download the materials, the entire folder. So here, you can clone if you know how to do it. If not, then just download, click this one and download and unzip somewhere in a designated folder. And then from there, you can, there are materials that we are going to use to help us to speed up the process. So we'll let you know which one we are going to use. All right. And if you have questions, you are welcome to type as we go on the chat. And also at the end of this workshop, there will be Q&A time. You might, the Q&A time may go over a little bit. So we are planning to finish a quarter minutes before 1, but it may go over a little bit. And all right, overall agenda. We'll have these agendas: expected learning outcomes, followed by overview of advanced features of HTML document in Quarto. And then we'll go details of the features useful for professors. I'm going to talk about these. And then Serin will talk about how to convert plain class project report to dynamic HTML report. And then Gerard will talk about how to style a basic HTML report with the themes and the SCSS file and Q&A. All right. So after this workshop, you should be able to convert the existing plain class project report to dynamic HTML report and format documents in Quarto with common formatting tasks, such as toc-location, cross-referencing Tabsets, and control the behavior of code blocks, and be familiar with common themes to apply for HTML document, and style your HTML document with SCSS. So first, we'll give you this page that has most of the things that we'll talk about, and is quite comprehensive curation of all these different topics like code authoring, HTML basics and code blocks, and HTML theme, publishing. And then here's a reference if what we give you is not enough. And if you want to read more details, then here is the link to official guide to Quarto that have in-depth explanations. And that's where I got all these things. All right. And go back. All right, so first, I'm gonna talk about these topics. So let's write. And now in terms of here, the materials that you would like to open up and follow, you see academic writing demo. So this one has a bare minimum like prose, and then we use that to enhance the document. So, all right. Now, if you don't have your R and RStudio installed in your system, you can go to, you can also use cloud version of RStudio by going to, what's that, Posit, yeah, Posit Cloud. If you Posit that cloud, then you can join these quickly, and you may be able to follow us. If you don't have time to do that, just watch and relax and watch, and then you can follow when the video is released. Okay. All right. So let me. I have already created a project, and then so now if you downloaded it, then you'll want to here click this rproj file, then the RStudio with this appropriate environment setup will open up. Okay, I'll try to. I'm trying to split my screen into two so that all right. So this is the final outcome we want to achieve when rendered. So it's a very simple document, but this simple document, when I try to type and both rehearse, it took 15 minutes. So that's why I decided to provide you with these bare bone, okay, the materials, the pre-made materials, so we can save time. All right. So here, let me adjust a little bit. All right. And so if you haven't done already, you can open up, yes, academic, here writing demo.qmd file, and that's going to be this one. All right. And so now there's a few things worth mentioning on the YAML. Okay, so there are three parts in Quarto, if you are new to Quarto. So the first is this YAML that controls the overall structure and the formatting guideline or setting. And then code chunk that like this. So we provide code inside code chunk, and anything outside code chunk and YAML will be text area, and you can use you can type just like word processor. And right now I am in source mode, but you can also go to visual mode, and the visual mode is easier to our eyes, but the source mode sometimes is easier to work with. So depending on your situation and what you want to do, you may want to switch back and forth and use work in two different modes. All right. So first, now yes, you can see here in this rendered document, you see this citation, and when you hover over, there is a pop-up citations, and if you click, it will go to end of the document where the references are located. All right, and so let's add. Let's try to add this. So here we say the Quarto is something about Quarto, and the Quarto allows authors to do literate programming, and we want to cite someone who said that. So here's going to be here. Maybe I do that, and then well, let me just like this. And then there are a few different ways. You can go to insert, or you can, in your keyboard, press Control and / simultaneously. The / then this pop-up will show up. And then when you scroll down, you will find citation, right? But you will have to, now you see there are many citations shows up, and most of them are from my Zotero bibliography management tool that I have. So let's suppose you went to online and then search. So we often go to Google Scholar, and then let's say we type literate programming here with Quarto, and then now here's something. So let's click and then get some information. One of the easiest way to get information is through DOI. DOI is a unique web URL website. that identify the website, I mean, this article. So if we save the link address, and then come back here, and then paste that into your from DOI, and then it automatically captures that. We select it and insert. So now I have that, all right? And then we'll also add another one. This time, there's a control forward slash once again. And then here's a citation. And I'm gonna choose another one that's already here. I just choose one randomly, and then you just insert. Now, if you are following me, and you can just you can go back here, and you can choose another one, and from get this DOI and insert that into Quarto. All right, and sit here. Now you see also there is a footnote, and the footnote is these are the only a few of the many articles. So we'll say that. So here to add a footnote, you can also, I'm gonna just use control forward slash, and then here, go down, here's a footnote. Now, then you can type the footnote here. These are only a few of the many articles. All right. All right, and go up there, and then what else? Here's now you can also add here another footnote, right? So if you hover over to here, right? So I'm going to say this time insert. Here's a footnote, and say, so automatically it used two because this is a second footnote. So to add a code chunk, press control and forward slash simultaneously. Something like that. All right. Okay, and now if you want to see at this point how all those changes were working, you can go to, well, you can press here. Where is that? Press render. Okay. And then while it's rendering, it's worth mentioning a few things. So here I have this toc-location and right body. So the right body means right side, the table will be in two places. On the right side is a floating table that shows all the time, no matter how much you scroll down. And on the top of your document, okay? And I found it to be more convenient, and because this table will give you the full view of the content, whereas these floating ones are usually folded, and the second or third level headings are hidden unless you go to that section. And also, the as soon as we didn't have this before, it's automatically added bibliography. At the time, we added a citation, okay? So, the citation bib file has been already created automatically. And if you click that, you see that it has those articles that you added here. And we don't really need to know in detail. It looks ugly, right? So here I'm gonna go and click. All right. Now in the visual mode is done. So let's see how well it was done. So we got, yeah, there are two of them. It looks it's a little bit messy here. Now to fix that, I want to go to this mode. All right, the source mode, and let's see. Okay, right here. So we got let's see. We want like that, and let's see. Hopefully this will help. And we want just both citations inside the same parentheses. All right. There's the next one that we want to do is working on. All right, now, so that's fixed now. And also we see here's the footnote. And here's the second one. All right. Inside code chunk, we have a code. So here is a very simple one that shows that we want to use this data set called MPG data. We need to load up library tidyverse and then DT library. And the DT library has a very interesting the function called data table, and the data table, once executed like this, it allows you to even search. So any vehicle that you wanna type, let's say Jeep, and you can find it from 234 different cars right here. All right. So now next what we want to do is we want to create this nice looking summary of data. So this is how we do. It's part of the code out tip, and code out tip creates this light bulb. And this summary of table that here we provide will be the caption of that. So we'll be able to say, table 1 shows this interesting data for car makers. And at the same time, we want to say there are X number of cars, right? So here, we need to cross-reference, so-called cross-reference this table. In order to do that, we need to give a label here. So labels, and all the table identity will start with TBL. And now let's call it MPG because it's MPG data set. And then here next, we'll say, now we need to, let's provide a label or caption for this table. And we called it, here's the label. So the label shows up once rendered like that. So I'm gonna copy that. And I'll also show it on the chat. And I'm gonna, you don't need a double quotation for that. It's all right. And here I wanna give only one space. All right. Then now you can, to cross-reference it, you you start with, okay, here's at and TBL and PG shows the interesting data set, and there are here. Now we need to, instead of typing 234, that's a violation of reproducibility. So we can here inside this tick, right? You can say type R and then n row, right? N row, number of rows of the MPG data set. And then R should be able to, even though this is text area, R notice that there is a tick, and then followed by R, so it's an inline coding, so it'll calculate. All right, so let's render, and it should show up like that. All right, so here we have that, and then also 234 cars. Okay, and adding this feature, what we have is actually two columns. So here, two columns, and there are two pictures added, and then these are cross-referencing for the first picture and cross-referencing for the second picture. And these are the captions, right? And then there is another, here two columns that explain each of them, and with this cross-referencing, right? So now that could take a long time, and probably I'm maxed my time. So here you can simply notice that we are using this layout and call equals to, means the two columns here, and then this will be one column, and we are adding these photos, images that are in the image folder. There are two of them, so you are referencing that. And here is the ID of this picture, and you always start with sharp, FIG, so FIG, then graduation. Here's another one, the second one. This one is belonging, so FIG, belonging. And then followed by, and this is optional, the alt caption, and then later that, so here what you here we haven't done, but there are two columns, so let's work on those two. So for each column, the first paragraph is the first column, and then second paragraph is the second column. So to do that, here we need curly bracket and dot column. It's column. Did I correct? Column and width. Here you can have a different width, but here we'll say 50%, and double quotation. And then here you will close, indicating that that's end the first column. Now we are going to copy this and use it for the second column, and then close it with the 3. Now, these 2 columns are part of the container. So we need to say these are, and you can have as many, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's use 6. It's up to you, 6 column. And then we'll say this is got columns, plural. And then we need to surround it with another one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You need to be consistent. All right, with that, let's render. And let's see, get your fingers crossed. All right. There is a little bit one more thing that doesn't cross-referencing. So we start with add. Oops. So here add, and notice this. We wanna copy that and then add it here. So fig graduation, and then this one is add fig belonging, right? And then we can also, that should work. Now it will render faster because we are using freeze auto. So freeze auto will only render the part that was just changed. And then it's gonna use cache for the previously rendered area that has not been changed. All right, so that's all. I'm gonna so we covered everything. All right, next, Seren is going to talk about her part. And Seren?
All right, thank you very much.
Do you
Welcome
want me-
again, everyone. All right. Oh, would you mind sharing the
Sure.
learning outcomes? Just
All right.
okay. So we will be building a small marketing report together, and we will first get acquainted with the visual editor, then modify our draft and customize our HTML and code chunks together to get a more polished and interactive look. And then we will be adding some more quirky features to our Quarto document to engage our audience. Now I will be sharing my screen and let's get started. All right. First, let's take a look at what our final product will be. So this is an assignment actually that I made for a course last year for my master's in digital marketing. And this assignment focused on budget allocation across different channels. So because the original project is very long, I will only be focusing on the basic summary and the SEO part for today. And now let's take a look at what our final report looks like. So as you can see, we have our headers, bullet points, and a table right here. We have our table of contents that we can use to navigate. And we have a little feature here that shows all code or hides all code, which is very useful if you are not working with a very technical audience. You want to be transparent, but you also don't want clutter on your report. So you want to be able to hide it at will. And here we have something called a tab set, which allows us to selectively showcase some content, which I really like. It's very engaging. And finally, we have a keyword analysis here. An advantage of Quarto over Google Docs or Words is because it's able to incorporate code, so your data is always live updating, and you can manipulate it in any way you want. And finally, we have a feature called commenting with hypothesis, which allows your audience to leave comments, ask questions, and for you to reply to them or share your own notes, which did not fit into the original report. All right, so here I have copy paste from Word, a very basic text, which we will be transforming. All right. I am rendering it right now. All right. See, as you can see, it's very plain. It only has the title and the name of the author, me, and we will need to start editing it to get it to look the way we want it to look. Editing headers is very easy in Quarto. As you can see, header 1, header 2, header 3. And there's one more way which you can do this. You can type a / here, and you can choose which type of editing you would like to make here. And keyword analysis, let's also make this a header 3. And I want these to be bullet points. Again, I can either use this bulleted list here, or I can type a / here, choose bulleted list for this part. There you go. Oh, sorry. So now that we have our basics, we can move on to some more editing. I want this to be a hyperlink so that my audience can immediately click on it and go to the website. There we go. And I want to add a table here to better visualize my budget allocation. All right, let's make it 5 to 5 for now. And let's call it monthly budget and revenue plan per funnel stage. All right, very easy. And then you can fill this out however you like. Say, let's call this funnel stage and give it names, demand generation. And here we can write budget, revenue, and fill out our table the way we want it to. Actually, this is not it. You can also edit your table cells with just a right click. You can, let's say you have an extra row, just delete it, extra column, just delete it. It's, I would say, even easier than doing it in Microsoft Word sometimes. So the rest of our report also has some data. So in this project, we have a price of 10,000 USD for SEO specialist. That's the price of the service. And let's say you want to refer where you got this pricing from. So let's use a fake website here for the sake of this demonstration. And we already have our footnote. It's very quick, very easy, and it will appear as a little pop-up here, which your audience will be able to view immediately. Let's render it and see how it goes. Okay. There it is. So here, because I did not fill out data here, it appears as a collapsed table, but you can see that the footnote is here, and it is also available at the very bottom if you want to view all the footnotes together, and it will take you to where it is referring to when you click on it. All right. So let's fill out our table very quickly to get a polished look. Let's call this total and these budget allocated, or let's just keep it short. And let's call this ROAS, which is one of the most important metrics we are using in this report. And here I realize we have a missing space. All right. So as you can see, I have three header levels, but these, I actually don't want them to be like the others. I want them to stand out, more engaging, and that's why I'm using Tabsets here. And all I need to do is to give them a title. And there you go. Now it's just a matter of simple copy and paste. Just fill it out however you like it. And when you render it, you will have your Tabsets ready for you. Before I render it, I also want to go into keyword analysis. So here I am sharing my code with my client for transparency because I will be taking a data set and filtering it. So there are two ways to insert a code chunk. You can either do it here, a code block it's called here, or you can insert a code chunk here. It's the same thing. And for the sake of time, I will be just sharing my code with you instead of typing it out. All right. So here what I'm doing is using tidyverse and read Excel, I'm telling my Quarto to import this data from the directory that is the same as the Quarto file, and then filter the data to only show the results that are on the second page of SERP, search engine results page. So this will show what opportunities our clients has with this extra SEO specialist that we are proposing. And when I print my data, they will give have this summary instead of just the entire data set. But if they want, they can also see where they can find the entire data set. So how about we render this and see? Okay. Knitting our file. And there we have it. We have our caption table, our footnote, our Tabsets, and our code ready to go. So there are some things that I want to modify here. As you can see, this actually is not very necessary to have here. It's better if it does not appear. And this message is just clutter. It serves absolutely nothing in my report. And I actually don't really like this very technical look of my data set. So I will be modifying all of this in my YAML. So to go back a little bit, I want to give a really nice unified theme to my codebook, and that will be called Litera. Quarto, or rather this visual editor, offers around maybe 25 themes for you to choose from. I like Litera because I like this plain, clean look with some blue details. So I will be using that. And let's see how it looks before we even, okay, let's see. Okay, I have to I think it's all right. Sorry for that. If we don't type in the correct level, it will not render and we will not get the result we want. Okay, now we have our theme. It has altered the coloring and the structure of the tab sets, as well as the general look of my my file here. But I actually want to customize it a little further. So I will be changing the font to let's say sans serif. And I will be increasing the size a little bit. I will make it 110% larger for visibility. And while I'm at it, I actually want to add some other links, which will be my client's website. Instead of just linking it in the text, I would like it to be very visible on the other side of my document. All right. Hey, yeah. So, all right. Again, I will need to push these in to be on the right level. Okay. So there's actually something I missed here, which caused it to not render correctly. So I will be first fixing the punctuation. And actually, before we render, I want to show one more thing, which I will, because we don't need it, I will just copy and paste right here. So you can not only link to a site in the corner, but you can also supply your code file to your audience, and they can check it out if they really need to. But because we don't have a separate file here, we will not be linking to it, but it's good to know. And before, again, I render it, I just want to enable my table of contents to better visualize what my left-hand side will look like after I complete my editing. So we first enable our table of contents with true, and then if we want, we can supply a different title to it. The default title would be table of contents, but I want to keep it brief. And I want to position it on the left side because I like my eye to start from the left and then keep going to the right. And let's add numbered sections to our code, which will help us, number our sections, and it will actually give an overall better structure for our audience to, see the levels of content, not just jump from one place to the other. Let's render it first. And, oh, wait a minute. I think it's not on the correct level. Let's see. think it might be a level issue, maybe. Let's try it like this.
Is there a way of finding out where the error occurred, or you just have to go in line by line to look for it?
I don't think I was able to hear the question, so would you mind typing it in the chat and then we can go over it at the very end, at the Q&A section? Thank you. All right, so it's important to pay mind to how you structure your YAML and know where every little line lives. So because theme is related to HTML, it lives here, but because table of contents is related to the general structure, the general file of things, it has to be on the very left side. So now that we have it in the right place, we can view our table of contents right here, and we can see all the levels we have. And there is one more thing that I want to do here, which is to customize this part. I actually don't really want to go this deep into the numbers. I don't think it looks good, so I will limit the number depth to 2, so that I do not go deeper into these numbers. And I will enable smooth scrolling while I'm at it to enhance the scrolling experience of my audience. Okay. All right. So I will not be rendering it for the sake of time, but we'll be switching to the to customizing my code chunks before taking another look to my file. So as I mentioned, I don't really like the look of this table right here, so I will be changing my data frame printing to Keyboard, which I like a lot more visually. And I will also be enabling code folding, which will hide my code, and we will be able to click and reveal it at will. We'll be setting this to true. All right. There you go. And there's another thing that is brought to my attention here. You can see, because I have lots of comments, my audience had to scroll to the right to keep reading, which actually disrupts the experience a little bit. So I want to tell Quarto to, when my code overflows, code overflow, wrap it. So it will instead take this comment to the next line, so that nobody has to scroll and just view it just by looking at it. All right. So how about we also change the background color of the code blocks? It's grayish right now, but maybe I want it a different color, or I really want my numbers, for example, to be green instead of red. So we can do these by first telling Quarto to change the background color with this key, setting it to true, and then background, border left to a very specific color. So you will have to enable, you will have to tell Quarto the exact code color that you want to use for the left side of your code chunk. So I already have mine right here. I will just copy paste it so that I don't have to spend looking for it. And Then I will change my highlights, pigments. Just like Cable and just like Litera, this is a theme that you can just, choose from the Quarto documentation and apply. It has a color scheme that automatically applies, and it can adjust from light to dark without you, based on the system settings, without you need to doing anything. So let's render it and see how it goes. Okay, as you can see, the colors have changed, and it now looks much more polished compared to what it originally did. And there are some interactive features that I mentioned that I want to add. One of them is code linking. So as you can see, when I hover over or click these functions, originally nothing happens because there's no linking here. But if I were to enable code links, it would actually, clicking it would actually take my audience to the documentation so that they can take a closer look at what I'm doing right here and maybe read more upon the functions that they're not familiar with. But there's a trick here, which is in order for me to enable this feature, I actually need to install two packages. One of them is called download, and the second one is called XML2. So I will need to either install them if I don't have them on my computer, or I need to just call the library instead of reinstalling it, which can take a lot of time. So if you don't have it, you can install it with this code, or you can just call the library like I do. Okay, let's render this and all right, it has successfully installed these packages, called these packages and enabled code linking. If I were to click this, it would take me to the package documentation, and I would be able to, read upon all the extra features, for example, that I may be utilizing here. All right, and one final thing, as I mentioned, I don't want these messages to appear in my code. It's very disruptive. So what I will do is I will tell Quarto to not execute them. I can disable warnings and I can disable messages so that these disappear. And maybe I want to give my audience the ability to hide any code at will. So I can globally enable this feature with code, tools. Oh, like this. If I set this to true, then instead of hiding all of my code, it will enable my audience to control it. All right. And since rendering takes so much time, I will also be enabling the comments right now, which requires you to create an account with Hypothesis, but it is very helpful if you want to engage with your audience a little bit more. There you go. All right, there you go. Here's my source code. And if I want, I will be able to collapse or reveal my code at will. All right, so I think I can now hand the microphone over to Jared since we are almost out of time, and I will stop sharing. Jared, take it away.
All right, thank you, Seren. Let me get this sharing. All right, hopefully we can see the screen. Let's move y'all out of the way. Okay. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this Quarto document that we have just created. And what we're going to do to it is kind of extend its theming with kind of custom themes or by kind of modifying already existing kind of classes in Quarto. So some topics to cover is going to be self-contained HTML, aside blocks, some LaTeX equations, and then we can really get into kind of real HTML with some styled divs and spans, explore some of those built-in themes we've kind of discussed before, and then kind of apply our own custom theme versus Sass. So to get started, we can quickly discuss self-contained HTML. So sometimes, or when you render an HTML document, it is not always going to be just a singular like .html document like you might have here. It's sometimes, if you have a lot of kind of external libraries or you're doing a lot of kind of interesting stuff in HTML, R will create a separate folder for this kind of rendered HTML document. So if you were trying to share that document, you'd have to send an assignment 1 HTML as well as the extra included files. So let me demonstrate that really quick. So we can control that kind of inclusive HTML option by this embed resources. Kind of content. So here I'm going to set it to true. It seems to be true by default more often than not, I'm noticing. But if I were to set this to false, we can see kind of some behavior that we'd want to avoid. We'll go back to our file pane. Now we have our assignment 1 HTML file, but we also have this kind of assignment 1 files folder. So this, if you were going to just share this .html to somebody, it would not render properly on their device and would just kind of waste all the effort that you put into this beautiful Quarto document. So what we want to do is specify this embed resources to be true. And then when we re-render it, you'll notice that this assignment 1 files folder disappears and this HTML document gets much larger. So then you can just share this HTML document like you would a PDF or Word document, anything like that. Nobody is going to have any issue opening it on their machine. All right, next we can take a look at aside blocks and LaTeX equations. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy paste from an existing code chunk. Oh, I messed that one up. I need to get into source mode. But this code chunk is going to be located in the assignment, like assignment 1 themed .qmd. So if you open that up, that is going to offer kind of the final product of what we're going to discuss today. So here, this is an aside block. It's kind of like a typical block with your three colons and then whatever you'd like. So in this case, we would like aside. So I'm going to render this so we know what it looks like. Aside blocks are kind of just the like comments essentially off to the side of your content where you can put interesting things you'd like to mention. So in this case, we are putting it next to this table that has some code that does some filtering. So we want to make sure that people know kind of how this was filtered. So we could do that by adding a aside and then add our kind of information. So if you take a look here, we can look at our rendered document, and on our right-hand side, we have our aside containing some LaTeX equations. Bear with me a little bit on the actual equation, but typically you'll have a bit more complex equations than a simple kind of filter. But let's look at how I got that LaTeX in there. So in your aside chunk, you can have your typical text, which is all fine. But we can also have these LaTeX-based equations. So let's move this over some. So what is LaTeX? It's essentially the language of formulas. So scientific mathematical equations, large complex equations, they're going to typically be written in a LaTeX format. So the way we can do that in R, Quarto, we can open with a $sign and then kind of close with a $sign. So anything within that, within those two $signs are going to be your LaTeX equation. So numbers, kind of less than, equals, greater than, plus, minus, quite a lot of things are just kind of natively accepted by a LaTeX equation, and you don't need to necessarily worry about it. As you can see here, the 10, the less than, everything is fine. But if you wanted to add a Greek equation or a Greek letter or some kind of text or something like that, you would first need to escape it with this backslash, and then you can type in whatever kind of Greek letter you would like. Like in this case, we can go for beta. You notice we have our beta symbol that pops up, and then you can kind of go sub 1, something like that, or beta sub 2. So quite powerful to just go ahead and type in that slash and kind of type in whatever Greek symbol you can think of, and LaTeX will happily render it for you. If you have text, you can't just simply type in some text because you notice a little wonky formatting. It's italicized, just not necessarily correct. So in order to handle that, we'll need to, again, use this kind of escape character, the escape slash, and then text, and then whatever text you have, just encase it in some curly brackets, and then it will render kind of regularly. There's quite a lot of LaTeX equation stuff out there, and it can get very difficult and very complex, but at its basic, it is very nice to include beautiful equations in your Quarto document. All right, now that we've done that, we can go ahead and get into the real kind of HTML and Sass kind of custom styling. So in order to kind of create these style divs, spans, and kind of apply some custom themes, we can, like Seren had demonstrated before, in this YAML header, you can kind of adjust some variables like font size or font family. But if you are really going to extensively essentially remodel a theme or create your own custom theme, what you'll want to do is create a Sassy file. What is Sassy? It is kind of an extension of CSS. So as you see here, it says CSS with superpowers. It's essentially it's a layer higher than CSS that eventually gets rendered back down to CSS. So this Sassy allows us to kind of extend CSS with things like variables and functions. Those are kind of like the main ones that we'll be taking a look at today. But yeah, that is going to be Sassy. But at the very end, it just kind of compiles back into CSS. All right, so how do we create a kind of sassy file? We can go ahead, pop over into this assignment1.qmd. I'm going to go up here and create a new text file. And then I'm just going to type some stuff in it just to save it. And then I will do this in my desktop. Boy, where did it go? Maybe I won't. Uh-oh. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm losing my thing. Instead of doing that, let's save some time, and I'm going to pop over to that GitHub and download this custom theme.scss. This is what we were just going to create right now. So I'm going to go ahead and, download that. And then I'm going to throw that in my working directory. Okay, now that we have this custom theme.scss folder or file, we can take a look at it in RStudio. Always open with that. Oh boy, we're not having a good time right now. That's fine. Open it in Visual Studio Code. Boy, it's saying it's going to give me a virus. Sorry, I'll bear with me with 1 second. I have not had this happen. It's not wanted. All right, so now we can again try and open this in. Things are working horribly. All right. So now we can kind of take a look at what this actual SCSS file is. I don't know why that was such a difficult download to get. But what this is again, as I said, it's a higher level version of CSS that eventually gets compiled back down to CSS. So here we have some variables. So in this case, I am defining all of my branding variables for Cal Poly Pomona. The way I can do that is kind of offer a $ and then the variable name and a colon, and then you can provide the color in a hex format followed by a colon. So this is kind of like general variable definitions of CSS or SCSS. Here, I'm just defining quite a lot of colors, but what you can also do in this SCSS file, which I think is probably the most powerful thing, is overriding the defaults of the themes in Quarto. So if we were to take a look really quick at some documentation, like this HTML theming page from Quarto, we can see quite a lot of different themes, but if we scroll on down to theme options, we notice it says you can do a lot of customization using Sass, as I've said, but we notice there are over 1,400 different Sass variables that we can essentially override, modify, and customize to our liking. So we could take a quick look at them, but obviously at 1,400 variables, that is going to be simply too much to kind of even cover. But yeah, there is so much you can do to customize your Quarto document through SCSS. So if there is something you don't like in a theme, you can completely change it by opening up these kind of variables. Like in this case, I have this body background that I redefine. It has a default kind of a white, but here I am redefining it as some eggshell secondary color that the school has defined. So before we move any more down this SCSS file, let's actually get it into the theme and actually see what it looks like when we re-render it. So take a look now at this kind of rendered document as Seren had offered it to us. And then we can go ahead and try to get our own custom theme in there. The way we can do that, you under this theme line, we'll have to hit enter, add like a minus sign, and then kind of tab in a bit. That YAML header is a big fan of tabs. So here we're going to keep that Lateria theme, but now we can also bring in this custom theme .scss file. So now if I were to render this, if we didn't get any issues of spacing, you will see the background color has changed, as well as kind of some table edits, and that is basically it for now. So let's just double look. So that here, I modified that kind of background by using another variable, which is very powerful. So instead of in typical CSS having to go through and rename everything or finding everywhere where this appears and replacing it, you can simply just reformat or recolor here, and then it would apply throughout the entire document quite well. Okay, so we can now kind of get to those inline divs and spans. I know we're a little short on time, but we can go ahead and try to add a custom kind of some styling to a word. Let's say we, in this kind of keyword analysis section, we want to really specify or show that the second page is what we're showing. So we'll probably want to highlight something like that. So in order to do that, you're going to create a span. So let me get that set up really quick. And again, out of time, I'm going to simply copy paste that one over. But we can create a span that will allow us to apply any of our custom CSS that we have created. Let me find that really quick. Here we go. And then we can discuss the syntax. So I'm just going to completely cover this up. And we can take a quick look at this. But I have this open bracket, kind of a span, and then I'm saying class equals to whatever class we would like to say. And then we have our kind of text that we would like the class to be applied to. And then we're essentially just closing that out, saying stop applying this class to anything else. So let's take a look at this highlight class in our custom theme.scss. So we can scroll down a bit and we notice this highlight class. So these are all classes I have made. It is kind of essentially just basic CSS at this point, but it allows you to modify things like background color, the typical color of the text, add some paddings, and a little bit of some radius. But there is so much you can do in these classes, but we'll just kind of stick with the basic highlight. So we can go ahead over here. And now when I render this, you will see that the second page, or that the phrase second page is highlighted in the way that we had specified before. But let's say you don't want to just do that to one kind of word. You want to do this to an entire kind of section. We can create a kind of custom div by using this, like the 3:, and then my custom div. So I'm just going to copy that really quick. And I'm going to encapsulate something like in this keyword or in this return on ad spend. We can encapsulate that. So now everything in this section is going to be held in this in a custom container, and we can take a quick look at what that might do. So here we can see we've defined our class, which is a custom div. We've added a border with some variable color, and then some padding and a radius around it. And then if we were to go ahead and take a look, we can just quickly look at it. We see we now have this border around it. We've created this kind of section that we can style, this container that we can style. So these are very powerful to apply to, larger sections and specific words, which is wonderful in Quarto and R, because you can, just create your own custom class and you have essentially unlimited kind of customability or customization of what you would like to put. We're getting a little late on time. You could do, things like text color. But finally, let's talk about what I think is probably the most powerful thing in Quarto is kind of being able to override those kind of Bootstrap styling. So Quarto is based off of Bootstrap 5, and within that is quite a lot of various variables that we can modify. So in this case, I am modifying the table class, which is just kind of a default class in Quarto, by just defining it in my custom theme.scss. And here I'm adding a border. I'm kind of adding a header to the, or background to the header. And if we notice here, we can see, we have a different color header. We've added some kind of outlines and things like that. So that is quite powerful to modify just like the default behavior of all of the kind of Quarto themes. All right, let me check really quick. Oops. All right, so we've kind of defined a lot of those custom themes via those Sass variables. Oh, sorry, one thing I want to mention is going to be a function in .scss. Another thing that makes it quite powerful versus CSS is these functions that you can create. So in this case, I have an example of the function, and then so it is a gradient. It's going to take a base color and then kind of modify it or darken it or lighten it over the entire text. So we would need to create a function to do that. SCSS is a whole nother language, so it's not going to be pick up and go for these kind of functions, but it is certainly something you can learn and is very powerful. So here I've kind of defined a function that is going to gradient some text, and then I will need to define this kind of gradient text class where I specify the background needs to be, do some gradient. So we can kind of take a look at that in our Quarto document. So instead of my custom div, let's just quickly change that to gradient text. Oh, difficult to grab. So now if I were to render this, we will see this like demand harvesting. We kind of have this kind of interesting gradient text effect. So of course you could modify this to your liking or whatever you need. But yeah, the main thing I want to point out is that you can do so much with this, sassy.scss files. It is definitely worth learning because you will also essentially learn CSS as you learn it. All right, I think that's just about everything. I know we're a little bit over on time. I will mention just one more thing. These Quarto themes, if you were to take a look at these, this HTML theming Quarto webpage, it shows you these 25 themes, but you are actually, if we were to take a look at one, like Sketchy, I find actually taking a look at these themes is quite good as it shows you all the various kind of elements you can change and modify in your Quarto document. As you can see, it's almost overwhelming, but that customization is wonderful to have. Oops. So that is kind of like one example of themes that you can modify. But what I like to do, typically, there's so many variables that you have to kind of change and modify. I like sticking with one of these available themes and then really kind of modifying it and extending it with your custom .scss that you can create. Oh, and one more thing, in order of themes, It will, when you specify a theme, Quarto will use that for everything. But if you define anything in this .scss in your custom theme, then Quarto will override kind of what was default in your theme that you had picked. All right. Thank you. I think that's all I've got.